Hey, Joanne, your favorite breath coach here. How are you? Are you dealing with heavy energies? Are you dealing with energy vampires or a bully or a combination of something similar to that? I bring this up because this isn't my normal routine, although there is some breath work involved in this. And I received an email the other day about someone who's dealing with a somewhat uncomfortable situation at work. And sometimes we're not really sure how to handle it. And I had to actually delve into my own past to figure out if there was a great number of things that happened. Mine were all relatively normal. I remember a routine in grade school where it all came about third person. So the bully never actually confronted me, but instead went to this person who told that person who came to me. And all I did was, well, fine. If they're there on the way home, then I'll be there. If they're not there, then nothing's going to happen. Well, the bully never showed up, apparently, because they didn't expect me to just continue on about my normal routine. Now, again, that is grade school, and it's a little different scenario. So let's deal with this. I received an email the other day, and this person is in particular dealing with somebody at work. And whether it's just heavy energies or if this person is an actual bully, there's a few variables on it. So, things to keep in mind often a bully is someone who it feels like they have to prove something or they have something going on at home. Now, I'm not a psychologist, I'm just dealing from personal experience. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to describe energy vampires and then give you a little routine. So stick to the end. We'll get to three really quick things you can do while you're dealing with this person. And what I will do is I will link the description in the description, the videos that I particularly like about the signs of energy vampires. That might give you a better description of what you're actually dealing with. And okay, so one energy vampire, excuse me, while I look at my notes. Um, they don't ever want to take responsibility. They like to play victim. They blame others for their problems, and hence they go seeking things and they want to draw that from you. So they pull your energy out of you by playing the victim, and you feel all sympathetic, and then you feel drained when you're done with them. Two, they can be narcissist and really self-absorbed. Now, I'm not going to get into the description of narcissism because it's all over the internet, all over YouTube. You can feel free to look it up yourself. Um, they want to dominate. They want to feel superior, which is what I mentioned. And actually, they really feel inferior inside, hence the need to be a little bit more forceful with you. That's probably the most common. And again, not a psychologist, no research, just personal, what I've seen and what I've been through, what I've had staff do to me. I used to run a small restaurant and I dealt with a variety of people. Um, Amazing learning experience, by the way. They also like creating unnecessary drama. They gossip a lot and tend to absorb the energies from that and thereby create more negative energies around them. And they are constantly criticizing you, which is a form of being dominant and trying to make you feel bad when in actual fact they're the ones that aren't feeling 100%. And some will exploit your kindness. And you have to draw your boundaries on where you want to be kind. You know, being kind, I am all about being kind. I've dealt with a great number of seniors in my lives who, in my life, sorry, that have been abused by the people around them, people that said they were family or even adopted family and taken advantage of the senior. So I went out of my way to comfort the senior and take care of them. And in some cases, I did put myself a little bit on the back burner, but I have no regrets about that at all. It was one amazing person in particular that I'm thinking of, and I would do it all over again because he was just an amazing fellow. Anyway, so let's get to what you can do for yourself. There's again, I watched a couple of videos to find some other ideas because not having a lot of experience with this is not exactly my forte. So, protection of your energies. These are the three things that I think are the most effective. And I actually, in listening to them, these are things that I've actually done for myself in dealing with certain people over the years. Now, mind you, I have also been in the position where when I was a secretary for someone, when I was living in the northern part of the province, I was a secretary for someone, and I had he had a very, 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 very demanding client. And this client would tend to just barge in. Didn't matter if my boss was in a meeting or anything. He would just waltz in. And so the one day my boss came to me and said, I need to get this project done. I'm on a deadline. I'm already behind because la 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 la. And I do not want to be disturbed, even if my wife calls, please, unless one of the kids is hanging by a limb, please don't interrupt. I'm like, absolutely no problem. And sure, of course, don't you know, law of averages, the wonderful client comes in and I need to speak to, and I'm like, no. And he's like, well, no, I need to speak to him now. I said, no, sir, you don't. He is in the middle of something that he has a deadline for, and he wants to get it done now. And that's what he's going to do. And the gentleman in question started to actually walk around my desk and head towards the office. In this instant, I stood my ground. I stood up and walked and stood in front of the gentleman. Was I like jumping for joy at doing this? No. I had a few moments of trepidation, and I was like, okay, I'm actually doing the same thing, the right thing. Because let's face it, he was a rather well-paying client, and he had some really big jobs for my boss. But at the same time, there's boundaries that have to be established. Regardless of how much money the person has, there are boundaries that have to be established. In that instance, I got up and I stood in front of the gentleman and I said, no, you're not. And that was all I said. The gentleman in question stood there, like literally opened his mouth, looked at me, goes, you may be out of a job. I said, that may well be, but he's not going to be disturbed today, and not by you, and not by the phone, and not by his wife. Thank you for your time. I will give him a message that you were here, and he will make an appointment to see you. The gentleman just stood there for a moment, tried to stare me down, and eventually he left. And that was okay. I do not always recommend this. There are some instances where you can play that game and some where you cannot. So you have to play it by ear and how it works best for you, because you are the one that knows your situation. But okay, so now 3 little things that you can do for yourself. Now, you know, I'm a big fan of breath work. If you follow anything that I do on Facebook, or well, Facebook and Instagram are kind of linked, but I have some videos in here that deal with the breath, and you know that I am often telling you to, while we're doing the videos, breathe. And my biggest recommendation for absolutely anyone in any situation, especially when you're suffering from stress and anxiety, and you need an in the moment thing to do when your stress and anxiety is at the epitome, just breathe in through your nose, breathe out longer and slower through your mouth, and repeat that until you can feel everything uniting. And it will. And seriously, it takes anywhere from 4 to 8 breaths for that to happen. Just make sure your out breath is longer than your in breath, and it will work for you. So in this instant, when you're dealing with your person, because you breathe all the time. Nobody realizes you're breathing other than the fact that they're breathing too. Most of us are simply unconscious of how we're breathing. So when you have to deal with this particular person, breathe in through your nose, and then just slowly, slowly, slowly release, and allow the breath to become as long and slow as possible. And then breathe in and breathe out. And you can breathe out through your mouth or your nose, doesn't really matter, because you're breathing. Everybody breathes. But what you're doing when you're doing this is, one, you're uniting your mind and your body. That's what the long breath does. 2, as you're exhaling, if you inhale organically, you don't have to force the inhale, just breathe in normally, as you would as if you were just standing there breathing. But control the out breath. What that does is it creates your own little energy around you, and it will negate whatever it is the energy vampire is throwing at you. Now, the other thing you can do is avoid direct eye contact. The purpose of this, now I'm sure you've all heard, the eyes are the window to the soul. So when you avoid direct eye contact, you avoid grasping the energy that is being thrown at you from their eyes. You can look between their eyes, at their eyebrows, at their nose, at their cheeks, forehead, wherever. Pick something. Doesn't mean you have to look away. Just don't look at their eyes. Okay. Now, the other thing, now this is a little more spiritual, but if you meditate, you know, often your hands are up because you want to receive the energies from God, universe, source, whatever your choice is. So often when you're meditating, your hands are up because you're open to receiving. Now, while you're talking to this energy person, whether you call it negative energy vampire, doesn't matter. When you're talking to this person, face your palms away from them. Whether you hold them against your thigh, against your, put them in your coat pocket if you're wearing one, a jacket, whatever, or face them behind you. But face your palms away from the person to whom you're speaking and see how that works for you. Now, there's a number of other things you can do. Those are my 3 top recommendations, and I strongly recommend you practice it before you have your meeting with whomever this person is. If you have to deal with this person on a regular daily basis, do it before you go to work. Practice it. When you have a break, practice it in the bathroom. You can practice it pretty much anywhere you like. And let's see, what was the other thing? Of course, you always have the choice of what you focus on, because we all know that people are, like I said earlier, if they're a bully, chances are there's something going on in their life that is uncomfortable, that makes them feel the need to be more firm. I'm trying to be diplomatic at work, far more forceful. Maybe they have a home life where they're not allowed to voice their opinion. You know, we have no idea what goes on in their home life. We have no idea what their personal life is like. We have no idea what their friend life is like. So they may feel the need to be the one that's heard at work. So keep that in mind when you're dealing with a person. And what's the other note I have here? I can't read my writing. Isn't that terrible? Yes, on an energy level. One more thing. And I stole this from Donna Eden. And if you haven't ever checked her out, please go check her out. She deals with energetics. It's freaking amazing. I haven't fully delved into it, but I do play with it on a personal level. But she deals with the energies of the body. And she calls it a zip up. And now there's several different ways of doing it. But basically, run your hands down the sides of your body, shake off whatever you have, and then on the inside of your legs, pull yourself all the way up and come up and zip yourself up. And that way, you're shedding off anything that's exterior and you're pulling up your interior strength. Now, some people do recommend starting at your base chakra. Personally, what works for me is starting at my feet and zipping myself up all the way. So it's entirely up to you how you do this, but take your time with it, play with each one, practice all 3, practice the zip up 4 or 5. I think there was 5 things in there after all, but practice them and see which one feels good to you. If 2 or 3 feel good to you, use those the most, because that's what's going to work for you. Each of us is different. Each of us has a different way of feeling our way through life. And that is the only way that's going to work. If somebody says something to you, do this because it worked for me, great, it worked for them. It doesn't mean it's going to work for you, because you're you. You're uniquely you. And you're the only one that ultimately knows. And again, if you have any questions, drop a comment below or email me. My email is in the box somewhere in the description box, and I will try to desperately to remember to put those links to the 2 description of the energy vampires in there. And I wish you a beautiful, magical day. Please, 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 please be kind to yourself. Be gentle with yourself. You are the most important and the best project you will ever have the privilege of working on. And you matter more than you can ever imagine. Sending you much love. Bye for now.